food. Frankly, I'm not letting you do. Hey, lately you've been living on the outside and quack. Frankly, I'm not letting you.
Charlie Winston, thank you very much for being with us on France 24. First of all, I'd like to talk about your success in France. You're taking part in 5 different festivals across the whole country this summer. Why do you think you made it so big here in France?
I'm interested in like Latin sounds, so some of my music has a lot of sort of funkier elements or even African elements as well. And I know that French, you know, it's kind of in between the two. It's the north and the south, so it combines all of them. And so maybe there's elements of that, but I think it's also because I'm a personality as well. So you know, like I'm a very outward personality, and I know that the French warm to that.
Et toi l'Englishman, enlève dans ton chapeau.
Qu'est-ce que tu dis, man? Don't speak my mother tongue. Comme moi j'avais mon style, toi t'avais ton style.
Existe-t-il un autre style? We are the destined, so destined.
Back in old time, back in old time, back in old time.
You recently travelled to countries like Greece, Turkey, Tunisia. What do you learn from these experiences abroad?
It was just really fun because I'm really excited to go to do really small gigs. You know, I don't like. Being big is cool, but the thing is when you get to that point, there's only one way you can go, and that's down. So for me, I like to do all the small clubs again because it's a feeling of excitement, like you're building something. When you get big, everyone kind of loses their mind, and they see you like some kind of, I don't know, icon or god or something, and it's like it all goes out. Reality seems to get a bit twisted.
I know that you write your own songs. Where do you get your inspiration from?
I think it's an energy that inspires me, if I'm honest, and how that energy is carried over is not really important to me. It's, you know, the style is not important. It's just the type of energy, you know, and it can be from people, it can be from personalities of people, it can be from animals or wildlife, or it can be from sound or visuals like film or theatre, dance, or just concepts and notions and ideas, you know. Reading books about science inspires me.
Would it be so unpopular for a singer like me to be bringing up the fact that we're all gonna go? Some people swear, they say they know where. For me it's a mystery, but whichever way you see it, you have to admit it and live it and live it. We all kick the bucket in the end, the end. Yep, we all kicked the bucket in the end, the end, the end, the end, the end. Blew up my TV.
Well, you became big with the song Like a Hobo that came out in 2009. What inspired you to write that song in particular?
Well, Manu Chao's first album, Clandestino, was a huge inspiration to me at that time. And also Sergio Leone's films with the soundtrack of Ennio Morricone. At the time when I wrote that song, there was a lot of, you know, Coldplay was just kind of getting really big, and lots of bands like Keane and all these kind of really English sounding bands like Muse and stuff with lots of long notes, sort of laconic notes, and I didn't want it to sound like that. I wanted to just give it more of a blues feeling and more of a rootsy feeling.
Like a hobo from a broken home, nothing's gonna stop me. Like a hobo from a broken home, nothing's gonna stop me.
And what kind of personal projects are you working on right now?
At the moment, I'm just keeping everything open. So I'm doing a lot of collaborations with people, opening a lot of doors, writing for people, with people, and for myself. Last year, I sort of lost my love for writing. I didn't really have the feeling so much. So I'm just enjoying getting back into that.
But why do you think that you lost that feeling to write?
Last year, I was focusing so much on touring that writing wasn't really on my agenda, and so I just let it be that way, you know. And it's funny because when I tell people that, a lot of people think that it's a sad thing, but it's not a sad thing. It's just the way it is, you know. It's like I'm not going to force something which isn't there, because otherwise it becomes too much like a job. Now I've got a lot more time at home. I'm listening to records. I'm, you know, just sucking up art and sound and life and people, and you know, that's a better remedy for inspiration.
But it's no use to pose the question, no, when the answer's never she. And then I have to face up to the facts, with saxophones and old trombones carrying me home to say hello, alone. It's you and me again. How can we pretend we've never met?
I always felt quite lucky, really, as a kid at school, because I was always shocked by how many kids didn't know what they wanted to do when they were older, and I just knew what I wanted to do. And it wasn't necessarily music, but it was being on stage and giving back in a sort of artistic entertainment way, you know. I always knew that. So, and I never doubted that I would be in this situation right now. Maybe the fact that I was named after Charlie Chaplin and Prince Charles, I don't know, that really doesn't tally, but he lives a life on stage as well, I guess. It kind of contributed to my interests.
Hey! That's when the evening... To be face up. Let's see. No one's home, so hey! Hey! What is there to say? Now I got the fever. I'm waking with it every day.
I was born onto the stage, really. So, you know, grew up I was born into a hotel. I saw my parents and my brothers all performing. So, walking onto stage was just like, it was part of my house, you know. My dad was a huge entertainer in the sense of being a real performer, you know, and a stage man. And I learned very young how to be a stage man. And I think this is a dying art, really. Before there was Bowie, for example, Freddie Mercury, all these kind of big personalities, even Prince, and you know, they would put on massive shows with real kind of personas. But now it's not so common. Now people get up on stage with the regular clothes, jeans and t-shirts, and just do their thing. And I don't really do that. You know, for me, it's when I'm on stage, I put on a show.
Lately, I've been thinking this could be another soundtrack to your life.
I'd like to talk about your childhood, because as you said, your entire family is into music, your parents, but also your older brother who was in a band with you, and you used to play the bass guitar with him. What was life like back then?
I'd come out of college really focusing on being a jazz pianist, and then I had no piano and no money, but wanted to carry on with music. So my brother had this great idea that I should learn bass, and we'd start a band. So we did, and it was really like days of learning the ropes, and we were rehearsing a lot. There was a lot of friction between me and my brother. You know, he was going in a very rocky direction, mostly inspired by Jeff Buckley, and I was hugely into reggae and sort of Afro beat.
You've come a long way since then. What does your brother think of your career?
Oh, he's super proud and supportive, and as am I to him. We're a really close family, and there's not really any tension or fighting about anything. You know, he's got his own career as well. He's a really respected songwriter in the UK.
Will you ever work together again or not?
I don't know. We've talked about it several times, and recently we've kind of thrown it into the air a few times. It's really about timing, because in a family, you know, there's much more than just getting together, and you know, you've got so much history, and so you have to be a lot more tolerant and patient with each other and respectful, especially when you've grown up as kids together and you've squabbled and fighted. So it's if it happens, it would have to be something that happened. We'd have to be quite careful about it.
Charlie Winston, thank you very much for being with us on France 24.
My pleasure.